Alright, boys and girls, and welcome to Gordon Guitar. Brett Young, we had him before here on this channel. This time it's uncomfortable. It's not actually, it's very comfortable to play this one. A great song from Brett Young. And yeah, let's dive into this one together. Capo on the 5th, that's the best scenario. So invest in one if you haven't, in one capo. It's very handy to have. Now let's go over the chords like we usually do. We have 4 different chords for this song, and we'll combine some picking here in the verse with strumming in the chorus. And that's what we're gonna do. Let's start with the chords now. We have first the D, so that is open D, 2nd G, 3rd B, and 2nd E. We have the B minor. It's a bar chord, so you place the bar here on the 2nd fret. You bar all strings except from the last E here in the bass. So 5 strings from bottom up. And then the rest needs to be 4th on D, 4th on G, and 3rd on B. We have G. So that is 3rd on E, 2nd on A, open D, open G, 3rd B, and 3rd E. And then we have an A with a C sharp in the bass. So sounds and looks like this. What I do here, I just place a bar on the 2nd fret from the D string and down. So 4 strings from bottom and up here on the 2nd fret. And then I just add 4th on the A string. So that's the C sharp there note on the 4th A string, and the rest is an A pretty much. I stay away from the last E string there. It's usually an open E string there. I bar everything, so I'm very lazy there. Just place a bar overall, but I stay away with my strumming hand from the last E string there. All right, so that's the AC chord, and that's all you need for this song: D, B minor, G, and AC. All right, so we'll look at the verse first. We'll look at the picking. I can just mention that, we could also use a strumming pattern, which I'm going to show you pretty soon, to replace the picking if you think that is too hard. It's actually not too hard, just give it some time. I believe for sure that you can make it. But anyway, it's an alternative to play this with a strumming pattern, very easy one. So let's take a look first at the main part here, the picking. Okay, so it's based upon the D and the G chord, right? So it goes back and forth between D and G. So I'm gonna take you through the D first now. It goes like this. All right. So what I use here is the bass notes for each chord here, the D and the G, to start with, together with the first note, which is the open E string. So the bass note for D is the open D string. All right, and the starting note here with the melody is the open E. So these 2 strings or notes together. And what you could do is to give even more depth to it, is to really pick more strings from the D chord. So what I do also, sometimes I hold the chord as it is, except from having the 2nd fret E string, which is the part of a D chord. I play now the open D, since that is a melody note. Okay, so everything else, these 2nd on G and 3rd on B, I keep that, and I pick all strings together pretty much like this. It's not necessary. The 2 important notes here is the open D, which is the bass note, with the melody open E string. So that's what you're aiming for, like this. And then you add the 2nd on E string. Then you go back to play the open E string again, and back to 2nd E string. So the bass comes in just in the first kick there, the first melody note, and then you just play 2nd E, open E, and 2nd E. And that's it for the D. So alright, we're moving on to the G now. The principle here is the same. I play the bass note together with the first melody note. The bass note for G is 3rd fret on the E string in the bass, this one. And now the melody is on the 3rd fret B string. And then you continue with open G, then open E, and 2nd G. So what I do here with this G chord here, I hold this grip with my ring finger on my 3rd fret E string in the bass and my little pinky on the 3rd fret B string. In that way I have the open G there coming up, then open E, and then when I go to the 2nd G, I release and just put my middle finger on the 2nd G string there. So I have opportunities to go around my bass note finger like this, little pinky on this side and middle finger on this side. All right, if that makes sense. So that's how I do it. So that is the D and G, but that is also just the first round. We have this melody in the verse here for 2 rounds, so to speak. The 2nd round is played with D again in the same way. All right, but then for G it changes. So if you go back to G again, now we have the same principle here, the bass note, which is still the 3rd fret E string, together now with the open E. And then you just play 3rd fret B string and make a pause there. And that is the 2nd round. Then you go back again and play the 1st round, 2nd round, 1st round, and like that, all right? So 1 round of the verse will be pause. And then you start all over again. All right. Great. Now, I mentioned we could play a strumming pattern instead of this. So that is perfectly fine as well, even if this is the main part, pretty much what is played here for this song. But you can choose to play a strumming instead, and we will use the same strumming later for the chorus. So the strumming pattern, if you go to the D chord, since that is the 1st chord, it sounds like this. Very easy. It's about 4 downs, all right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. The rhythm is to play on the bass for the first 2 downs, then on the top notes for the 3rd down, and then back to bass on the 4th down, all right? So bass, with that, I mean it's the 3rd, sorry, not the 3rd, the bass notes, the bass strings around the chord here. So for D, it's on the D string G or so. So you stay on the bass strings for whatever chord you're playing. And then on the top note, you go down to the lower strings seen from above, so to speak, on the G, B, and even E string then, okay? So you're gonna play bass, bass, top, bass, 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 top, bass. All right, so that is the pattern. Bass, bass, top, bass. That is 1 round. So if you replace this verse with strumming instead, then you're gonna play 1 strumming round per chord. So D, G, D, G. So you hear how these melody and the strumming works together, it belongs together in some way. You can choose to go either picking or strumming. Great. That's about the verse. Now over to the chorus. Now we'll play just plain strumming and we'll stay with the same strumming pattern, okay? So you're gonna play D for 4 string rounds, then B minor 4, then G 4, okay? Then you're gonna play D1, AC 1, B minor 1, and G just 1 down plus a pause, okay? It's a pretty long one there, the chorus, but anyway, just a quick repetition, and then we're gonna play D4, B minor 4, G4, D1, AC1, B minor 1, and 1 down on G plus a pause. Let's do this. D, B minor, G, D, AC, B minor, and G. And then starts the verse melody. All right, guys, so that is pretty much what you need to play Brett Young's Uncomfortable, the verse play and the chorus play, and you put it all together by your own. And yeah, great song from a great artist. He will for sure be back here. So if you love Brett Young and songs like these, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. I love the support I get, and to see everything grow makes me just good, gives me motivation to go on. So thank you for your support, guys. Until next time, play tuned.